Hello, everyone. I say everyone. Um, there's a few people watching the stream right now live. You can say hi in the chat. I'll say hi in the chat. If anybody has any questions or comments while this is going on, feel free to ask. And the topic today is website migration brainstorming. So, switch scenes here. So, my dad has a company called Rising Star. Hey, Cameron. Hey, Ken. Um, it is a oh, hey, there's my dad. He's watching the stream too. So Rising Star is a company that does multiple different things. It started back in 2008, 2007, and we made a website in 2009, and it hasn't really updated too much since then. Here on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see the current website. On the right-hand side of the screen is a program called Notion that I'm actually using to um, track the project. We're doing a big push. Got a bunch of things to work on, some documentation and stuff here. We're trying to grow the business. But so I'm using this to keep notes, keep track of things as brainstorming here. And so what I want to do is I'm going to move. Okay, so this is a .NET website. I guess I created about a decade ago, and it's had a few updates. Um, Added a customer portal, have our own CMS, but the actual content of the main site hasn't changed too much. Um, so a few things I want to do. I want to move the main content to WordPress, and by doing this, it'll be easier to update. And also, since WordPress is basically a blog platform, we want to go through some of the old newsletters and repost information to keep the website in the search engines and appearing for the topics, for the keywords rather, for the topics that we care about. So, and we do have a lot of newsletter content because the company's been around for since 2009. So, gonna do a little brainstorming here. It's not going to just be a straight up make a WordPress site and dump the content there because there are some applications here in .NET, specifically like the customer portal. There's a login and stuff there. The hire tool. That's information about the hire tool. Let's see, I can log in. If I can remember my customer username and password. Maybe? Nice. So this questionnaire. So suppose I'm going to hire someone and I need to find out if they're going to be a good fit for my team. I'd have them take this questionnaire. So this questionnaire is actually a .NET page that I don't want to change. I might change the layout here at the top or whatever to match the new WordPress layout. But the actual content and program here, let me go through and select most likely, least likely, and hit the button in the end. That sends an email, and there's some number crunching that goes on in the background in .NET. I'm not going to port all of that into WordPress or into PHP or anything. So I know. Start some notes here. I know right off the bat that the questionnaire needs to stay in .NET. And let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. I don't know if Notion has. Oh, there it goes. Scaling up. Scaling up. Okay. So I know the questionnaire needs to stay in .NET. Um, not just the questionnaire. There's also a survey that needs to stay in .NET. The customer portal is going to stay in .NET, and the admin CMS will stay in .NET. So right now, to access a questionnaire, there's this link, and the URL is questionnaire.aspx, and then question mark query string has the auth code there. So if, and I'm just thinking through this right now. I don't have any other notes or anything than what I'm doing here. But what I'm thinking is, I know with JavaScript I can redirect, and I know with JavaScript I can get the URL and the query string. In fact, in episode 2 of Jeremy Makes Stuff, made a little website to point my unused domain names at, and it uses JavaScript to get the domain name here, and if I add extra stuff after it, right, that's not going to show up because it's just getting window.location.host. But I know that I can also get to the rest of the URL as well as the query string. So using JavaScript for the questionnaire and the survey, because the survey, it does a similar thing with the URL. I don't remember exactly if it was just a token or if an ID as well, but it doesn't matter. Whatever the query string is, I can use JavaScript for these two, so that if someone has an old link, right? So if peopleconcepts.net now went to a WordPress page, right? So like artsupplyguide.com is built on WordPress, but I wanted, if somebody uses the old URL with questionnaire.aspx auth code blah blah blah, to still go to actually a whole different server. PHP is not, or the WordPress is not going to accept the ASPX domain or file extension. So let's see if I, using Art Supply Guide as my example, if I go to make up something questionnaire.aspx, that should take me to the 404 page. Yes. Okay. So that's perfect. So for actually 404 updates. So for the new WordPress page, on its 404 page, like Art Supply Guide has here, 404, I will have, I can make a widget or inject some JavaScript onto the page that will look at the URL. And if it's attempting to get to questionnaire.aspx or survey.aspx, actually, let's see, I think it's survey.aspx. Yeah, so it says this survey code's already been used, because that's actually an auth code for the questionnaire. But anyway, yeah, so if somebody would had the old link, was peopleconcepts.net / questionnaire.aspx auth blah blah blah, it's going to hit the 404 page on the new WordPress site. And the 404 page on the new WordPress site, I will update it with some JavaScript to see where the user is trying to go and get the query string. And then I can send them on, I can redirect based on that to an appropriate .NET site still on the server. So maybe, yeah. So, okay. I'm trying to not have any dead air here on the stream while I'm trying to think through this, and I feel like I'm coming off a little choppy in my thoughts. So we're gonna hit the 404 page on the new WordPress site. The JavaScript is going to read where you're trying to go. And if you're trying to get to the questionnaire, it will actually redirect to, I'll just make it up right now, I guess, q.people-concepts.net, and then whatever the query string is. And I'll set up a subdomain of Q to just run a single questionnaire page as a site. And I'll update the header so that it'll look like the new WordPress page. So I'll do the same thing with survey, right? So if the 404 page reads the URL, see it's the user's trying to get to survey.aspx, I'll actually redirect to s peopleconcepts.concepts.net. The / in Notion actually brings up a menu to add new stuff. So that's what's happening there. It's bringing up the context menu. And then the query string, and that'll go to the survey page appropriately. All right. So that actually, let's see if I can change this to a bulleted list. Well, that kind of worked. Not really. Made a new bulleted list. What is going on here? There we go. Okay. I'm still getting used to using Notion as well. It's pretty neat. It's kind of like Trello plus some sort of mind mapping, brainstorming application, I guess. Can I move this back over? Well, anyway. Okay, so that would be that. So next, the customer portal. Right now, there's a link on the home page that says customer portal. And it goes to the login page, which is /customer. And it's possible, let's see here, Ken asks, have you looked at plugins for redirect in WordPress? They may have an elegant solution already. I have. The problem that I ran into was that they didn't all seem to preserve the query string. It was more of just like we do an actual 302 redirect or a 301 redirect. And I don't necessarily care about reporting back the redirect status, because these aren't supposed to be like these links aren't tracked by Google and for SEO or anything. But yeah, the query string really matters in this case. So I don't know. I may do some more research on it. A little bit of JavaScript isn't difficult either. But yeah, that is a good point there. There are tons and tons of WordPress plugins out there for all kinds of stuff. And the other problem with using a WordPress plugin potentially is as WordPress is updated, the plugins don't always work anymore, or the plugins may be abandoned by the developer. So just a potential issue there for the future, something to think about too. So the customer portal, the login here. This, if anybody has it saved, peopleconcepts.net/customer. The WordPress site, so like on Art Supply Guide, if I go to artsupplyguide.com/ I think Artist Corner, that goes to the podcast here, right? So WordPress is already set up to have these kind of folder hierarchies going to specific like landing pages or categories or whatever. So this one's actually /category/product reviews, and it's all of the posts, the product reviews category. So right now, if I go to artsupplyguide.com/Amazon, whoops, no space. It comes to this page that says Amazon affiliate link, and it automatically starts to redirect with the Art Supply Guide affiliate tag in there. Um, so I think I can do something very similar, where if somebody goes to peopleconcepts.net/customer, I can just have a page on the WordPress website that will redirect to customer.people-concepts.net. So another subdomain. So it'll be its own site, its own site. Yeah, that would work fine. Because then even if the only thing I'm not sure about is if anybody has customer/default.aspx. I can actually check the server logs and see if anybody has hit the site on that specific URL. And if a bunch of people have that saved, a bunch of customers or whatever have that saved, then I could potentially do the same update to the 404 page as I did for the questionnaire and the survey. Just check the URL, and if it's customer, then redirect to the customer.peopleconcepts.net. But I'll have to check that. So I'm going to make a note of that. Back this up a little bit. Okay. Check server logs for. Just paste that there. It's IS logs specifically. So I'll check the IS logs to see if anybody's accessing it that way. If not, then I don't have to worry about adding that to the 404 page. If so, I'll add it to the 404 page as well. So then for the admin login, that's actually very similar to customer because it's just /admin. So that makes sense. And really, there's only two people that use the admin right now. That would be me and my dad, Gary, who I believe is still watching the live stream. He's up in Kalamazoo right now, actually, in an airport, waiting to catch a flight home. So there's a little bit of trivia for you on your Friday morning. So the admin page works the same way. peopleconcepts.net/admin. I can do the same thing, redirect that. admin.people-concepts.net. And I can set that up as its own site in IIS as well. Now, security, he says in the chat, he says, yes, I'm here. Security is a big deal still. As you can see, I do have SSL certificate, a valid SSL certificate for the website because using usernames, passwords, email addresses, things like that. The WordPress site, the host I use for WordPress, vps.net, I've got some virtual servers there, as well as do some WordPress site hosting like Art Supply Guide. You can see Art Supply Guide also has a certificate at HTTPS. The certificates, that says it's not fully secure. Oh, there may be some libraries or something that are HTTP, not HTTPS. But anyway, through cPanel, and I think, is it HTTPS everywhere? It automatically updates the certificate for the main site. So the main website, which hopefully will look a little less dated once done, and need to get some new testimonials. Um, yeah. So the main WordPress website will have uh, the certificate through cPanel. I need to make sure that the certificate I have on the Windows server is not just for Concepts.net, but a wildcard certificate so that I can use the same one for Q, S, customer, and admin. Um, so that's list there. Make sure SSL certificates is a wildcard cert. And if not, I'll have to update that because security is important. Let's see. Don't think there's any other pages here. Are all just static information. The testimonials will be easier to update as well. Um, some of these have been on here for a little while, but once it's in WordPress, um, won't have to go in and edit the layout and put in the uh, text and information all that same way. It'll be a lot easier. I'm not sure if anybody's ever actually used this click to call. It's been here for so long. I'm not sure if it still works. I guess I could try it. Let's see. Since my dad's on the chat, I'll just put my phone number in, click the call, and we'll see. His phone might be ringing right now. We'll see if we lose a viewer, or he might decline the call. But it does look like it's working because the if by phone thing came up. And then it disappeared. So I don't know if it. Oh, I think it worked. See here. Hello.
Hello, this is Gary with Robin. How may I help you?
Hey man. Yeah, I'm sure you saw on the stream. I was just checking to see if the click to call thing still worked.
Yep, it
For
does. Some people have been using it.
okay, so do you want to keep that on the new website?
I think so. I'm for a 40 piece.
All right, sounds good.
Basically get drunk. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'll talk to you later. Little impromptu guest here on Jeremy Makes Stuff. That's funny. All right, so we're gonna keep the click to call, right? So I think that's pretty much it as far as the nitty gritty stuff. So let me pull this over here for a sec. I'm going to log into vps.net and go ahead and create the subdomains and point them to the IS server. So those will be ready to go once I ready to start moving files. I think sometimes whenever I'm broadcasting, it's a little slower here. I'm trying to load up the page. So let's see. While we're in this lull, got 4 viewers right now. Let's see. Cameron, Ken, Gary, my dad, and a mysterious viewer. What all do you guys have going on today? Is everybody working hard? Drop some notes here in the chat. Let's see. My dad asked, could we add email or contact addresses for those quarterly testimonies to drive customers to the business? Yeah, I mean, we have the contact information is there right now for the testimonials. if it was given to us, and we can add more and update that and all that on the new site. Oh yeah, I was logging in. I was like, what was I doing on the other side here? Okay, pull this up and manage my DNS. Okay, so I'm just going to update some DNS entries for peopleconcepts.net. Bunch of different stuff going on here. Let's see. So I'm going to forget what I was going to add. That's why I make notes. So I'm going to add Q, and it's going to go still the .NET server. And wait, all right. Add S, same. And customer. And admin. Same. So right now I don't have those subdomains set up in IIS. So I think they'll still just go to the main website if anybody attempts to go to them right now. But I think that's good. So I've got those set up. And I guess that's it for now. I'm going to go start working on, I'm going to look at some website themes next. I've got a big to-do list here. Set up WordPress, choose a theme, get the main content over, see the blog posts, admin and customer stuff updated, which we talked through today, and update the links and stuff. Ah, yes, there's also a coupon site, or a coupon page to add that to. Oops, not typing in the box. That's not an IP address. No, I'll do the same with the 404. Add the coupon. So the coupon page, what it does, I can't spell concepts.net in the query string. The way the coupon page works, if there is an event or yeah, if there's an event or like a convention or whatever that Gary goes to and is presenting, he can actually generate a coupon code and give it to somebody after talking to them. Then they can go to the URL and it gives them the questionnaire, but also asks for like right now it asks for first name, last name, and also asks for email address and some other information, and actually adds them to the CMS as a customer. The questionnaire here is used by the customer for their hires, their potential new hires, so we don't collect like email addresses or anything here because we don't want the email address of the person taking the questionnaire. So anyway, the coupon, I'll have to add that to the 404 as well. And I think that's going to be it for today. Shorter episode than normal. I had gotten some feedback from a few people who went to the channel like, "Oh, these are long episodes." I'm like, I mean, it's only an hour. I was just working on the computer. It's a live stream. That's kind of what happens. It takes some time sometimes. Um, but listen, about 35 minutes so far. I think the first 5 minutes was just listening to some music. So, are there anybody have any other questions in the chat, um, or ideas? Am I crazy trying to mix a WordPress site and some small .NET applications together? What do you think? Is WordPress even the right way to go? Um, I kind of gravitate towards that because it's easy to update, um, and it may be easy to update for other people too if we end up, like just discussing with Gary there in the chat about some testimonials every once in a while, updating those. With WordPress, it'd be a lot easier for he can go in and update them if it's some new information or whatever. Um, all right, I don't see any questions coming through, so I guess I'm gonna drop the stream and hope everybody has a good rest of their Friday and a great weekend. And I'll catch you next time.